We are live in our studios at Caraba Avenue. You're watching Qtv Nightly News and I'm Jacqueline Corey. Thank you for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. In preparation for the upcoming 2025 Hajj pilgrimage, the National Hajj Commission of the Gambia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Religious Affairs, convened a meeting with Hajj operators and prospective pilgrims on Saturday. To gain insight into the challenges faced by emergency drivers and the sacrifices they make to ensure swift responses, we visited the ambulance unit at Qtv General Hospital to learn how they navigate the city's frequent traffic jams. The Female Lawyers Association of the Gambia FLAG on Friday held a validation forum aimed at reviewing and finalizing its newly developed legal aid manual. Buyam General Hospital commemorated International Workers' Day, also known as May Day, on Thursday by offering free medical checkups to the public. The Minister of Tourism and Culture, accompanied by the Ministers of Youth and Sports and Defense, presided over the opening ceremony of the third edition of the Futampaf International Cultural Festival on Saturday in Foni, Kansala. In sports news, the Gambia drew with Algeria in the CAF African Nations Championship qualifiers on Saturday at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Those were the headlines and other news in detail. Do stay. In preparations for the upcoming 2025 Hajj pilgrimage, the National Hajj Commission of the Gambia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Religious Affairs, convened a meeting with Hajj operators and prospective pilgrims to provide guidance on the spiritual importance of the Hajj and to emphasize the need for ethical behavior in the holy cities of Saudi Arabia. Pakaba Suso reports.
The meeting brought together the country's 15 accredited Hajj operators, Hajj guides, medical missions, and intended pilgrims. Officials from the Hajj Commission, the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Islamic scholars, and guest speakers. Dr. Ibrahim Sisao, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Religious Affairs, explained some of the new strategies implemented for this year's Hajj.
This year, all our pilgrims will be housed in one hotel, and it's a very high standard hotel, a 5-star hotel. But also the idea of taking Gambian cooks to also cook for the pilgrims is also one of a very good initiative. Literally, everybody will be staying in one hotel, and that also makes it easy for the pilgrims to have access to the doctors.
Fode Sisi, Secretary General at the National Hajj Commission, underscores the importance of the meeting.
To have a general orientation about how preparations are made from here, Makkah, Medina, and all over, so that they know that they are going for a sacred journey, not like traveling for ordinary trip. They prepare their mind, their mindset, psychologically, and also mentally as well before they leave.
Sheikh Ibrahim Ajaju, Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of the Gambia, spoke on the spiritual essence of Hajj, emphasizing the immense rewards Allah bestowed upon those who undertake the pilgrim with sincerity. He urged Hajj operators, guides, and intended pilgrims to recognize the significance of the journey.
Hajj is a demanding act of worship that calls for patience, humility, understanding, and above all, God consciousness. Always strive to move in groups rather than alone to minimize the risk of getting lost.
Sheikh Alhaji Isa Dawo, President of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, has this advice for intended pilgrims.
Be conscious of Allah and always remember that you are performing Hajj solely for His sake. Follow the guidance of the Hajj leaders to ensure a successful and accepted pilgrimage.
Other speakers at the event included Aji Adoletsi, who spoke on behalf of the Hajj operators, as well as Alhaji Usman Jah, the Imam of Taqwa Mosque, Alhaji Baisen, and Alhaji Imam Modulamin Toure. They all offered prayers for the intended pilgrims, asking Allah to grant them a safe journey and a successful Hajj. The National Hajj Commission and the Ministry of Religious Affairs have reaffirmed their dedication to ensuring the safety, readiness, and secret integrity of these important religious obligations. According to the Commission, The forced Hajj flight is scheduled to depart from Banjul International Airport on May 17, 2025, with subsequent flights to follow, ensuring the timely transportation of all registered pilgrims to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Reporting for QTV News, Pakaba Suso.
Day and night, emergency and ambulance drivers navigate tough traffic and often travel long distances to transport patients, handle urgent medical referrals, or to deliver critical care. In a bid to understand the challenges they face and the sacrifices they make to ensure timely response, our Bob visited the ambulance unit at Qtv General Hospital, and this is her report.
While doctors and nurses are rightfully praised for their life-saving work, behind every emergency case that arrives at the hospital on time, there is a driver who braved chaos, congestion, and stress to make it happen. Determined to shed light on their daily struggles and unwavering dedication, I paid a visit to the hospital's ambulance unit. Lamin Diba, an ambulance driver with over a decade of experience, highlights some of the key procedures and challenges faced during emergency responses.
Yes, the ambulance driver, Nibala, ibe hakilotula ila nila silence obe on. Ike hakilotu ibe men walenkan.
An ambulance driver must always stay extra alert. When the sirens are on, it's important to watch the vehicles ahead carefully. Follow them closely and slow down as needed until you find a safe opportunity to pass. Some drivers may have their windows rolled up or be distracted by their mobile phones, making it harder for them to hear the ambulance siren. Others might even ignore the siren completely. In these cases, we have to manage the situation carefully until we can safely overtake them. To help emergency vehicles, drivers should avoid using headphones or mobile phones while driving and regularly check their side mirrors to stay aware of the ambulances approaching from behind or ahead.
Traffic congestion is a major nightmare, particularly in West Coast and Greater Banjul areas, where it frequently hinders the swift movement of vehicles, including ambulances. This delay can be critical in emergency situations, making it challenging for ambulance drivers to reach their destinations on time and deliver life-saving care where every second counts. Neiba recounted her frustrating experience of being stuck in traffic while desperately trying to transport her sister for urgent medical care.
It's not easy and it's crazy when it comes to transporting a patient or somebody who has accident, because this incident happens and I witnessed it. It was my sister. Then we had to ambulate her from Banjulin to here to Qtv. But when we reached at Latrikunda, the cars don't want to give us space like to go, so we have to use a shortcut to reach to this place. And when we reached here too, we met cars everywhere parked, so it was crazy for us to get in. And she nearly lost her life in this. Like, it's not only about when somebody is inside, even if the ambulance is not carrying anybody, I think we should allow the ambulance to go. Yes, maybe the ambulance is there to pick somebody or is already with somebody.
Omar F. Jammeh, Public Relations Officer at Qtv General Hospital, emphasized the critical need for drivers to yield to ambulances during emergencies.
They are always onto the service to provide the care for the patient. The driver that obstructs the traffic for any ambulance can be a next victim or next patient to be carried by the ambulance. So that should always be at the back of all the drivers' mind, that when ambulance is coming, if there is ambulance behind me with silence, I should do everything possible to make sure that I give the way. So that because the driver is always on the service to serve and also to protect somebody's life.
The Gambia Fire and Rescue Services plays a vital role in saving lives protecting property from fire damage, and providing humanitarian services. However, the Gambia Fire and Rescue Services personnel often face challenges, including physical attacks, while responding to emergencies and community needs. In October 2024, Pate Jiba, the former public relations officer of the Gambia Fire and Rescue Services, shared insight into the obstacles the service encounters during its operations.
The giveaway problem in this country. Let me put it like that, because when I say giveaway problem being a major challenge, giveaway will help us access the place that is affected and do the needful in time. Okay, lack of giveaway will cause delay, and unfortunately delay could lead to some severe consequences for the victims. And then that results to firefighters also being bullied, because the persons that are waiting for us there do not know what was happening to us previously on the road.
As I left the Carnifing General Hospital, the sound of a siren in the distance reminded me again of the urgency that defines their work. In a world where every second counts, ambulance drivers are the silent heroes racing against time, deserving not only our respect, but also the support they need to keep saving lives. For QTV News, I am our Bob.
The Female Lawyers Association of the Gambia Flag on Friday held a validation forum aimed at reviewing and finalizing its newly developed legal aid manual. The event brought together legal professionals, civil society actors, and stakeholders in the justice sector. Yafatugay tells us more.
The Legal Aid Manual is a comprehensive guide intended to improve access to justice, particularly for vulnerable and marginalized groups. It is also expected to serve as a key resource for legal practitioners, offering practical tools and a rights-based framework for delivering standardized and effective legal assistance. According to FLAG, the manual will not only aid its members in delivering more consistent and professional legal aid services, but also help their clients become more familiarized with the legal process. Ananjai is the president of the Female Lawyers Association.
It's a significant milestone in our efforts to improve access to justice, particularly for women and children, and for other vulnerable groups. It brings together FLAG's experience, values, and commitment to equity, offering a practical guide to delivering legal aid that is ethical, accessible, and inclusive.
Genar Yasin Jeng, the consultant, gave a review of the Legal Aid Manual.
So the legal aid manual sets the tone by defining what legal aid is, looking at the legal framework of the Gambia and how we utilize legal aid, whether it's with government institutions or not. And then it then introduces FLAG as an institution and how legal aid is provided on the FLAG, basically based on the three principles of affordability, accessibility, and fairness.
Fatoumata A. Kamara, a legal practitioner, highlighted the significance of the aid manual, emphasizing its value to both legal practitioners and their clients.
I think it's also important that when we're doing court representation, we're able to have a document that would guide us on how we're going to support and better advocate for the rights of the women and girls that we support at our level.
Legal aid manuals are comprehensive guides designed to provide information, instructions, and best practices for legal aid professionals, including lawyers and advocates. These manuals typically serve as a resource to help legal aid providers understand procedures, laws, and ethical considerations involved in delivering legal aid services to clients, especially those who cannot afford legal representation. Once validated, the Legal Aid Manual will be adopted as an official reference tool to FLAG and made available to other interested institutions working to strengthen legal empowerment and justice delivery in the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatigay.
We are now taking a short commercial break. When we return, we'll explore the Kansala Trust Organization's third edition of the Futampaf International Cultural Festival, held in Biam, Foni Kansala, as well as other stories. To stay with us.
Wow, Sadio, ça va? Ça va, bien. Oryx, with you all the way.
Powered by Africa, Oryx Energies.
réewu Gambia ana ñu ko doon waajal di laajte kañ la ak fan la dama ne may ma sa nopp ma dey la waa Kombo Beach Resort ñoo leen indil Amados borom ma Samba Waalo mu nar a ñoo def kala diina bu doy waar bu nar a neex andi 9 of May lay doon dama ne lii foor na ñu ne amuñu ci loolu dinañu indi Awa Gambia xale bu mun a wëy Awa Gambia nooy ñëwee mu ne ma kapsin dinaa def lu foor ndax kat ku ma xam ma ci mbalax mu tar mi dinaa indi ñaar fukki sabar waaw kay Kombo Beach Resort ne amuñu ci loolu dinañu indi malls mu ñëw toj Souleymane yi ñëw tojcanti ko kon nag book leen seeni tables gold table $50,000 platinum table $60,000 individual duga bi $4,000 kon nag reservation enquiries number 764-7777
sama mbokku Gambien yi maa leen jox rendez-vous inshallah le 9 mai waaw Kombo Beach.
Welcome back. Be reminded you're watching QTV News and I'm Jacqueline Collie. Now, Briam General Hospital commemorated International Workers' Day, also known as May Day, on Thursday by offering free medical checkups to raise awareness about hypertension. Loliam Camara covered the event and filed this report.
The event, which began with a 6-kilometer march past, brought together health officials, hospital staff, community members, and local leaders under the theme Reduction of Hypertension-Related Morbidity and Mortality. This symbolic work was aimed at promoting physical activity and community participation in health awareness. According to the World Health Organization, NCDs, including high blood pressure, now account for over 70% of global deaths. In sub-Saharan Africa, such conditions are responsible for over 35% of all deaths, a figure expected to rise without intervention. Keba Mane, CEO of Briam General Hospital, reaffirmed the hospital's ongoing commitment to health promotion and community engagement on health-related issues.
Most of the people that are coming to this hospital are definitely related to hypertension and diabetes, and most of the deaths that we are having now, it is mainly hypertension and diabetes. So there has been a paradigm shift from communicable diseases to non-communicable diseases. So that is why we genuinely choose this particular team. We want to also expose it in a way of showing people that exercise is very, very important.
Sefo Singate from the Ministry of Health NCD unit, along with Honorable Almame Jiba, National Assembly member for Fonyi Kansala, praised the initiative.
The study 2023 STEP survey revealed that we have over 70% of our population who are not engaged in any form of physical activity. Regular physical activity is one of the most effective and accessible interventions to prevent and control hypertension and many other NCDs.
This year is one of the biggest, and I also thank the CEO of Biam General Hospital, Keba Mane, and his staffs, and also informing us to be part and parcel of this maiden day of Workers' Day. You will see today when we group together, nurses and doctors you will not be able to identify. Politicians and soldiers you will not also be able to identify. Civil servants and also NGO workers you will not be able to identify.
Public health professionals, including Dr. El Haji Ibrahim Sar, medical officer of Senbad Aid Economic, and Dr. Yahya Keba Jata, medical officer Buya, encouraged the public to regularly monitor their health status.
What we are doing here today, exercising, is first step in preventing one from getting hypertension. So exercise is very important.
The public officer will say prevention is cheaper and better than curing. Being diagnosed with hypertension, come by yourself to the facility, screen, you give you put your medication, you take your medication, adhere to what the provider tell you.
According to Sefo Singate, data from a recent stepwise survey in the Gambia revealed that over 20% of adults aged 25 to 64 are hypertensive, with many unaware of their condition. Representatives of the Gambia Armed Forces also took part in the event, underscoring the importance of collective national efforts in promoting health and wellness across communities. The day wrapped up with friendly sports competitions aimed at fostering team spirit, reducing stress, and enhancing interdepartmental cooperation. The highlight of the event was the Red House team emerging as champions, adding a festive and celebratory close to the health-driven day. For QTV News, Lolem Kamara.
Kansala Trust Organization over the weekend held its third edition of Futampaf International Cultural Festival in Biam in Fonyi, Kansala. The event was attended by the Ministers for Tourism and Culture, Youth and Sports, and Defense, respectively. Babukar Sise tells us more.
Futampaf is a traditional initiation ceremony observed by the Jola people and some other African ethnic groups. It signifies the formal transition of boys into manhood and holds deep cultural and spiritual importance. The chief of Fonyi Kansala, Ali Nyasi, welcomed guests to the event and urged them to continue supporting Futampaf, which represents a cherished tradition passed down through generations. Usman Jaju, the CEO of Kansala Trust, stated that the Kansala Trust was established to promote cultural heritage and support the development of Fonyi and the nation as a whole.
We are non-political and focused on the development of our children and the nation. Culture plays a vital role in attracting tourists to the Gambia, which in turn generates significant income for our economy. Therefore, we should not be seen as politicians, but as individuals committed to your progress and the advancement of our country.
While officially declaring the event open and presenting a donation of $50,000 on behalf of President Barrow in support of the festival, Abdoulaye Diop, Minister of Tourism and Culture, highlighted the event's economic and social significance.
Futampaf holds great promise. It can transform this region into a thriving hub of cultural tourism, create employment opportunities for youths, and stimulate economic activity. And strategic partnership, this event could become a major draw for scholars, researchers, and visitors from across the globe.
Minister Job also urged for stronger collaboration among stakeholders to further promote Futampaf and build on the achievements already made in advancing the festival's visibility and impact.
I urge the team to continue their work towards having Futampaf officially inscribed on the UNESCO prestigious intangible heritage list in the near future. I am particularly proud to note that Futampaf has been included in the pilot National Intangible Cultural Inventory. And this is something that you raised last year.
Reiterating the Brikama Area Council's unwavering support for the festival, the chairman of the council, Yankuba Dabo, emphasized the importance of the event in honoring cultural identity and preserving the traditions of our ancestors. He also offered a suggestion to further enhance its impact.
This event does not only afford us the opportunity to showcase and celebrate our history and culture, but it enables us to live in the times of our ancestors. And the other thing which we also recommend is that hosting this event in April is good, but we as a council, considering that this is the flagship event that we have, we would prefer it to come a little bit closer to the beginning of the year. The reason why we are encouraging this is because we tend to have a lot of Gambians from the diaspora visiting the Gambia during that period.
Sekuna Baji, the chairman of Councillor Trust Organization, expressed gratitude to the alcalos, chiefs, and all individuals and institutions whose contribution and presence helped make the event successful. Special appreciation was extended to the National Center for Arts and Culture, the Gambia Tourism Board, the National Environment Agency, Brikama Area Council, and the distinguished guest Chonkesil from Senegal. The Futampaf rides serve as a powerful communal event through which traditional values, social responsibilities, and ancestral wisdom are passed down to the younger generation, reinforcing cultural identity, social cohesion, and continuity within the community. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
Coming up next is sports news. The Gambia faced Algeria in the CAF African Nations Championship qualifiers on Saturday at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Tune into our Qtv Nightly News on Monday for more details.
Wait, a long ball there, and the Gambia, Lamin Sedikan. Sedikan looking for options, and Gay controls, but again, he's still...
And before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. In preparations for the upcoming 2025 Hajj pilgrimage, the National Hajj Commission of the Gambia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Religious Affairs, convened a meeting with Hajj operators and prospective pilgrims on Saturday. To gain insight into the challenges faced by emergency drivers and the sacrifices they make to ensure swift responses, we visited the ambulance unit at Kanifing General Hospital to learn how they navigate the city's frequent traffic jams. The Female Lawyers Association of the Gambia, FLAG, on Friday held a validation forum aimed at reviewing and finalizing its newly developed legal aid manual. Biam General Hospital in Fonyi commemorated International Workers' Day, also known as May Day, on Thursday by offering free medical checkups to the public. The Minister of Tourism and Culture, accompanied by Ministers of Youth and Sports and Defense, presided over the opening ceremony of the third edition of the Futampaf International Cultural Festival on Saturday in Fonyi, Kansala. In sports news, the Gambia drew with Algeria in the CAF African Nations Championship qualifiers on Saturday at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. That's all for now in this news bulletin, but do join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Week in Review with Momo Boj and Jules Nyai. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Thanks for watching.